Sort of. See if the sound is working. Colors on. Yep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA. We're going to be talking about postal today. Lots and lots of postal. Heaven help us all, right? But first, one of my very favorite commercials of Christmas commercials of all time. Here we go. I never noticed the guy in front there is the guy in front. I don't know if you can see my cursor. That guy's directing the other bells. I didn't realize that until I watched a parody of it. But there you go. There you go. We wish you a Merry Christmas. And I know it's only Thanksgiving. I'll get, you're going to get a solid month of happiness from me. I can't help it. That's just the way it is. So on that note, let's get off of this and let's get over to the news. Okay, guess what? USPS USPS postal increase coming January 24th. Now, the good news is Summer Gould says, ready or not, January 21st, 2024, postal rates are going up. Okay. And then she tries to soften it a bit by saying that 74% of marketers agree that direct mail delivers the best ROI. Boy, does that sound like a skewed sample set. I gotta say, the best. I don't think you'll get digital or email or pay-per-click people to ever admit this stuff, right? I can't find anybody who does. But if you're out there, I'd love to hear from you. Here, let's light up the chat there. There we go. I did get some comments yesterday, which is nice. I can see them live. If you try to comment, I might. And if you'd like to talk about postage or printing, I have limited knowledge, but I know a lot of really smart people, and they can help you. And we can probably connect you up to the right ones, which is really good. And so, yes, there we go. And so, anyway, postal rates are going up. I was shocked because I dropped a letter off. I was driving my wife around and she had a letter and she said, yeah, it's cheaper to, I said, this was the electric bill. I said, can't you play this at the Piggly Wiggly? And she said, yeah, but they charged me $1.75 and it's only 50 cents for a postage stamp. So when I saw this, that it was going to be 68 cents each, I thought, holy smokes, that's like almost, I don't know what, 20% increase or something. Oh yeah, more than that, 33% or something crazy. So, but it turns out the current rate is 63 cents, not 50 cents, which still makes it a better deal to mail it than it is to pay it at the pig. But, so it's only up about 5% or 5 cents would be more like 8%, something like that. So Summer goes into extraordinary detail. Vinny said the other day he actually went to WDMA.org. All of the show notes marked up like this are up there after each show, a little while after, sometimes days after, but not very long after. And so if you want to read the rest of the article, you can just go to WDMA.org. You have to be a subscriber, but it's free. Or you can join and support us, in which case you can call me up and talk to me about your mailing program or strategic marketing or whatever you want to cover. You can cover a lot of ground in an hour. I wouldn't probably think it'd be fair to go more than that. Half hour is probably fair. But anyway, you can have fun talking to me. That's probably the best benefit. People do it, and we've made major improvements in their mailing piece. Just that simple. But the other thing, two good things from the Postal Service. One is they wait till January, and the other is that they give a bunch of discounts. Tactile, sensory, interactive promotions. So if you put some spot varnish on it, you might be able to be okay. Personalized color transpo promo. I don't know what that is, but I know people who do. Emerging technology. I think you can get a 3% discount, which almost makes up for the postal increase, just by putting on a QR code, right? I think so. I think so. And if you use you can get a 4% if you use advanced voice assistant, whatever that is, video, NFC, mixed reality, or virtual reality. I wonder if the QR code goes over to a video, is that advanced? That would make up the postal increase. Anyway, runs from March 1st to September 30th. So there's overlapping discounts that you may be qualified for. And this one's an amazing one, informed delivery, because what you're doing is you're sending an email about your mailer, about your mailing piece, when it gets delivered to the people who are receiving it for no charge. Not only no charge, Postal Service does it for free, but they give you a 4% discount on your postage. How could you not do that? Now, in defense of not doing it, I've asked many mailers who've tried it, and I say, does it boost response? Does it seem to do anything? And I know I haven't looked at it in a long time, but every time I look at it, I usually look at it for a week's worth. I only see maybe one, because you can even do color on there. You can do a color representation, not just the scan of your mailing piece. You can put an offer on there that's clickable, so that they can see it on their phone and click it and go to the offer. Amazing stuff. But I think my style consultant said it allows me to see if there's anything real in my mailbox, which turns, in her words, turns mail into email, or where I can ignore it. I don't have to go to the mailbox, because I can check it without going. Someone else told me that they liked it because they'd been in a messy divorce, and they were pretty sure their wife was hiding their mail from them. So by signing up for informed delivery, they get to see the mail before she does. That's an excellent use, I have to say. But both of those degrade the direct mail impact ultimately. Retargeting. Okay, so a promotion is for matching either a visitor's IP address or to a website or an app to a customer. So in other words, you drive somebody to the website, like maybe you got a TV commercial. This is from the Lovesac case in my head. You got a TV commercial that sends people to your website. When they get there, we can look them up, and depending on the rules of engagement that we've set, maybe they spend 20 seconds or more, maybe they click a couple of pieces, links, we can decide that they're worth mailing, and so we'll send them a mailing piece. And then when they we look up their address, send them a mailing piece. Apparently you get a 5% discount. Now, usually the count is pretty low. I verify this over and over, but you get something like 100,000 visitors, you probably get 5,000 mailable addresses out of that. So it's not going to be, a major thing, but hey, why not do it, right? So there it goes. It disconnects and reconnects. It's all on YouTube. YouTube stays up, but LinkedIn typically drops it as soon as it can. So we'll have a 2-part series. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so as much as USPS seems to be going up, I couldn't find even one graph that showed me how digital is going up. And digital is going up. And here's digital for the last 6 months or something, from July to November. So holy smokes, Bowinkle. But there's no scale. Nobody wants to really tell you how bad it is. And remember when CPM was really low in Q2 of 2020? No, not really. I don't. But down here is a graph of. Here's a graph. Why won't it shrink? There it goes. A graph of cost per click. It looks like CPC, and it's way up. But they won't really give you. They give you just percentages. Nobody will tell you the real money. But my understanding is that digital's up about 50% since 2020, And, you know, you can try and verify that if you like. Be wonderful. Anyway, I also wanted to mention the National Postal Forum, which is in Indianapolis. I like that that's in Middle America, and I'll probably drive down there. And Ray Van Eiderson has asked me to submit a potential talk, so I'm going to be doing that. And so Indianapolis, Indiana, June 2nd through 5th. And the Postmaster General is doing the opening session, so I asked for one where I could be there when he's there and say hello and tell him he should back direct mail much more than he does. But for some reason, this is squishing everybody. I don't know why. It's squishing everything, and I'm not sure. Okay, well, anyway, and the last piece I wanted to talk about, this is from Quad, and it's not too bad. It's in Forbes, How to Optimize Your Direct Marketing Budget in 2024 by Scott Martin. Okay, from yesterday. Okay, and that's just a graphic. What was interesting is he said that they work with 2,900 brands and asking marketers what's up. They're being asked to do more with less, which is always, you know, the CFO doesn't believe that what you do has any impact whatsoever. And so in this article is a key to telling the CFO and the board of directors what's really going on when it comes to direct marketing. And the first one is, he says, when you let data and logistics lead the way, that sounds like really a bad idea. That sounds like letting your CFO run the marketing department. But when you evaluate every channel, including print, with rigor, you can optimize without compromising effectiveness. That's probably true. As John Wanamaker famously said, half my advertising is wasted. I wish I knew which half. And the great news is that in times of stress, print, you can show that print may be the most cost-effective channel. Okay, what's one of the first ways? By bypassing processing locations. In other words, if you ship your mail across the country first to the appropriate SCF, then you will get a bit of discount if you can get it closer to the delivery point. So to do that, you need DM vendors that have significant scale. Although I ran this by Paul Lawson at the Market Builder, who is a supporter of WDMA, and he's taken a few clients away from Quad, and he said, you know, that sounds good in theory, but he said in practice, you know, if you do some of these other things, if you have somebody really watching the process, because the big challenge in print is don't use a vendor that's bigger than you're worth. In other words, if you're a small fish in a big pond for a big print vendor, you just won't get the attention that you might need. So one of the very first times, I think it was the very first time I printed with R.R. Donnelly down at the Lakeside plant, which was a monstrosity. It was like a mausoleum. And I went there at 2 in.the morning, and they told me, honk the horn loud as you come around the corner and the gate will open, and don't slow down. Then you take an elevator up to a dimly lit, marble floored, arc ceiling mausoleum, and no one's there, and the lights are barely on, and it was, I mean, they had oak discs were the floor, and they said they went down about a foot so that the presses could shake the building without shaking the building. It was amazing. Anyway, I was too little, and we got the thing printed, and it didn't look good. It was bad. It was a sort of a flesh-colored design. I still have it up there on the wall behind me, but which didn't, you know, it didn't look like we laid it out, because in those days you could adjust the print heads, you know, and the red, any little, it was like a flesh tone almost on the cover. I don't know why the designer picked it, but anyway, we learned from that. But also, when we got it to the post office, it turned out it didn't make the it didn't make the weight limit. And my boss, Vic Hunter, said, well, didn't they send you a mock-up to see what the weight would be with that paper, with that exact paper? I said, no, they didn't. And I didn't know to ask for one because I'd been printing, I'd done a couple of catalogs of 48 pages, but this one was a bigger one. And it had a little bigger format, and so we were just barely into the out, and we had to pay a penalty, a postage penalty. So there were a couple of major problems with it. It still did pretty well, but there were a couple of major problems, and part of that was, I think, that the salesman just wasn't interested in a 500,000 piece run of, a 56-page catalog. It just wasn't a big deal for R.R. Donnelley. So I learned from that, Later I was printing 6 million piece runs, and then you got good service. So it doesn't necessarily work to just get a bigger printer that you're going to save money. You might want to have, you almost always want to have a printer who'll work with you and tell you, if you trim a 1/16 of an inch off the top, you can save 10% or something like that. Or, we've got some paper, and old paper that we found in a warehouse that we'd stored up when the paper shortage was at its worst. Would you like that? Sure. And, that's how you save money in printing most of the time. Choose mail formats and designs that are optimized for postal savings. Rose sent me a whole book of postal ideas. And one of them was, he sent me from On Point. Rose is at On Point. And he sent me, and now I can't find it handy. Let's see. Try not to spill anything back here. So here's one mailer that has just a printed explosion, but I can't find the other one. The other one has a die cut, and they offer that as a standard format at On Point, who's also a supporter of WDMA. Quad is not. I've asked Quad over and over and over for many, 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 many years. They're just down the street, but they're too big. Right? They're too big to care about the biggest catalogers in America. Anyway, so Rose sent me a whole pile of already made up designs that are very nice, mostly self-mailers. Some of them have envelopes, and it comes in a nifty box. Okay, I can put these back. We're working on a mailer for a financial company, a mortgage company. And so, using something the printer that you have, if you want some interesting formats, On Point has them. Each printer has its uniqueness. In fact, On Point also does Perfect Bound. If you want to class up your catalog, test it. Test some Perfect Bound. That first catalog I did with Donnelley was general binding. And I said, you ought to put the binding spine on it. And they said, oh, that'd be way too expensive. That's okay. So anyway, there's a lot of stuff in here, but I really wanted to find testing creative virtually or by using AI. I can't imagine that is a good idea. I've been beaten by a lot of people in back tests, quote unquote back tests, only to crush them in the real world. Virtual testing has been proven to boost response rates compared to what? Beat controls. Yeah. Why? Anyway. But one of the great things, but here's one of the concerns I have. Quad is talking about modeling your audiences to reduce the frequency, to reduce the customer cost, to eliminate waste. And the real trick in modeling is expanding your circulation. And that's a whole different kettle of fish. And that's why you probably don't want to do your modeling necessarily with someone who's trying to cut circulation. Okay, I'm trying to find, they did mention incremental testing and holdout testing, what I call holdout testing, and I'm trying to find it, and that was gold. Okay, that was gold. Here it goes. Determine incremental return on ad spend by strategically holding out part of your program up to 10%. So you take the people that you're going to mail and you segment out 10%, okay? And once you do that, then you can compare on the back end and you can see what. Now, all of a sudden, my computer is syncing something and it covered up. Oh, man. Computers. Okay. Once you sync it, no, once you hold it out, you can also see, did these people buy anyway? You know, did the digital and the email that we're pounding them with every day, did that generate orders? And we could have just not mailed them. That's how J. Jill should have done it. That's how Nordstrom's should have done it. But instead, they just cut all the mail and said, we want to go digital, right? Chadwick's of Austin did it. Just cut all the mail, cut the catalogs. Instead, cut 10%, see what it does. But I would also encourage you with all my heart to cut digital. You know, I have a prospective client that spends $600,000 in digital every month, and they don't think they can afford mail. And I said, well, just cut out 1 week. See what happens. Maybe nothing will happen. You know, you're addicted to this. You're afraid to cut. Just stop it. Stop it all for a week. See if anything stops. See if there's a marked decline. There may not be. There may be. Procter & Gamble cut out some of the intermediaries in their ad buy. 40% they cut in their digital budget and sales went up. You know, Uber cut accidentally. They stopped a week of digital advertising and nothing happened. And they realized that it was all bots. So I encourage you to do it not only in your print, but in your digital also. Have a great day. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll have a special for you on Friday, but it won't be this. Like and share. Your friends will know you're